What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. This week, UFC 305, Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya is going down, and today I'm going to give you my full breakdown and predictions for every main card fight. And let's start off with the opener. Carlos Prates versus Jingliang. This is a really good opening fight for the main card, and this is, a step up in competition for Prates, but I'm picking Prates by unanimous decision. I don't know if he finishes Jingliang. I don't know if that happens, but I think he puts a beating on him. Look at Prates coming off 3 nasty KOs against Charles Rattick, Trevin Giles, Mitch Ramirez. Not the greatest level of competition, but he's not, Prates is fighting. Jingliang, he's coming off a 2-year layoff and just lost a split decision to Daniel Rodriguez. And I know some people thought he won that fight, but still though, super competitive fight. You could have given it to him, but still, he got the loss. Hasn't fought ever, hasn't fought in 2 years. Prates has a 6-inch reach advantage. He has nasty knees, super effective slick striking. He's younger. I think Prates has a future in the top 15 of the welterweight division. So I just can't pick Jingliang to win this fight. He just hasn't been active enough. And Prates is an absolute savage. So I have to go Carlos Prates, getting this done by unanimous decision over Jingliang. Huge win for Prates. This is a step up for him, and he gets it done. Closer to, getting into the top 15. On to the next fight. We have Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I refuse to pick Bam Tuivasa. I'm not picking him. I'm not. He's coming off getting destroyed by Gon. I know he dropped in there, but he got destroyed. Destroyed by Pavlovich. Destroyed by Volkov. Destroyed by Tybura. And Tybura just got destroyed this past weekend. I just can't pick him. I think Tuivasa doesn't take his career seriously. It's looking like he's going to be the next Tony Ferguson. All he has is nasty KO power. His last win is like over 2 years ago against Derek Lewis, who also was washed up. In Rozenstruik, he's not that great either. Coming off a good win over Shamil Gaziev. He lost to Jalton Almeida before. He destroyed Chris Daukaus. That's not the greatest one. It's Chris Daukaus. Everyone destroys Chris Daukaus. Then he lost to Volkov. He lost to Braids. Got out grappled by Blades. So Rozenstruik isn't that great either, but he's on a different level than Tuivasa. And I think Tuivasa, he needs this win badly, and he knows, but I think he's going to get worse and worse each fight. I'm picking Rozenstruik to KO him in the first round. And the only way Tuivasa wins this is with a direct bomb on Rozenstruik's chin, which could happen. It is heavyweight, and Rozenstruik isn't some insane fighter, but I think he's way levels above Tuivasa. So I got Rozenstruik using his way more technical striking, the KO power he has in his hands, his better footwork, and just the fact that he just wants it more and takes his career way more seriously than Tuivasa. And he's just a better fighter in every aspect. Other than, Ty, might have a little bit more power, but it's not going to make a difference in this fight. So I got Rozenstruik destroying, utterly brutalizing Tuivasa in the first round of this fight. Nasty KO from Rozenstruik. Moving on to the featured fight on this card. This is a great fight in the lightweight division. Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Mateusz Gamrot. What a fight. And I think the odds are doing Dan Hooker a little dirty here. I think Gamrot's like a minus 350. I get that he's the favorite, and I probably am going to end up picking Gamrot, but still, minus 350 is crazy for this fight. Because Dan Hooker, Islam's really the only guy that's really been able to just straight up dominate him on the ground. That's Islam Makhachev. There's no shame in that. He does that to basically everybody. But other than that, Dan Hooker has shown a very solid wrestling. He has good striking. He has good knees, good power. And Mateusz Gamrot, he got hurt in the RDA fight. His resume is a little fluky. The Vazeev win, Vazeev got hurt. A lot of people thought Gamrot lost to Arman. Very close fight. Regardless, though. But Gamrot still is a legit top 7, top 8 lightweight, in my opinion. And his chain wrestling is unbelievable. His striking is a lot to be desired, but the wrestling is so effective. So I could really see Dan Hooker maybe hurting Gamrot once this fight, but I think Gamrot's chain wrestling, his constant takedown pressure, his just physical will that he can impose on Dan Hooker is going to be too much for Dan Hooker to handle. So I got Mateusz Gamrot winning this by unanimous decision. I think Hooker's going to have moments on the feet. I think he's going to have moments. He's going to make this fight interesting, but the chain wrestling of Gamrot, and even though his entries can be a little sloppy, I think it's going to be too much for Dan Hooker to handle. And I think Mateusz Gamrot, this fight is a lot closer than what the odds should be given it. But I think Mateusz Gamrot I think he's just overall better fighter, and his wrestling is going to be Dan Hooker's downfall in this fight. So I got Mateusz Gamrot winning by unanimous decision. Moving on to the co-main event. This fight was hard to pick. I'm still kind of tossing it up in my head right now. But we got Steve Erceg versus Kai Kara-France. Great flyweight fight. Solid co-main event for this card. Two Australians going, fighting each other in Australia. Can't get better than that. This is a tough fight because Steve Erceg's coming off a really good performance against Pantoja, which a lot of people thought he won. And we look at his resume before. He beats David Dvorak. He was kind of, good win for him. Was able to hurt Dvorak. But Dvorak, he's on a 2-fight losing streak before he fought Steve Erceg. He's kind of fallen off a cliff. He's not that good. I don't think he's ranked anymore. I'm not sure. Maybe if he's ranked, he's at number 15. And, you go to Alexandre Costa, which is another solid win by Steve Erceg. He was kind of getting pieced up in that fight. That was a really gritty win that Steve Erceg had to get out against Alessandro Costa, not Alexandro. But yeah, Alessandro Costa was able to nail shots on the chin of Steve Erceg, even though the dude literally has no reach and was way shorter, I believe. Then you look at Matt Schnell, Erceg, this fight is the fight that really got Erceg, into that title shot picture. Brutally KOs Matt Schnell. Great win for Erceg, but who isn't beating Matt Schnell? Well, who isn't KOing Matt Schnell? So it's not, all three of these wins, they're good, they're solid wins, but it's not like he's taken out it's not like he's taking out elite competition or dominating these guys. Other than Matt Schnell, who gets dominated by everybody, he's not dominating any of these guys. All these people are landing on his chin. And when we look at the Pantoja fight, Pantoja was also able to land on his chin. I think Erceg made some mistakes in the grappling there in the later rounds. But overall, this was a really good performance by Erceg against Pantoja because Pantoja's a beast. He's the champ for a reason. And, listen, Erceg has power. He has good jiu-jitsu. He has good grappling. Is on Pantoja's level? No. But the fact that Erceg has such solid boxing and he's just such a well-rounded fighter, he is elite flyweight for a reason. When you look at Kai Kara-France, who's on a 2-fight losing streak, a lot of people thought he got robbed against Amir Abazi. So in a lot of people's eyes, he should be on a 1-fight win streak. And beating Amir Abazi is a very good win. And, on this end, I don't think grappling is going to be major in this fight. I could see Erceg trying to engage in it, but I think Kai Kara-France has a really good defensive grappling. So I don't see, if Erceg gets a takedown or gets his back, I see Kai kind of just, getting, defending it relatively easily. So I see this fight mainly being on the feet. And Kai Kara-France also has really good power, like Steve Erceg, for the flyweight division. He has powerful kicks. He was able to find the chin of Brandon Moreno. He was having a great third round before he got caught with that liver kick against Brandon Moreno. And, you look at this fight before Moreno against Oscar Alscarif. I might have butchered his last name. My apologies there. But that was a great win for him. He was able to touch his chin. And in this fight, it's a tough fight to pick, because I think recency bias does play into Erceg's favor because Kai Kara-France hasn't been ultra active. He hasn't fought in a year. He is, he's technically on a 2-fight losing streak, while Erceg is only on a 1, and that is to the champ. Regardless of who I pick, this fight is going to be a decision. I don't see anyone getting finished in this fight. And I think people are forgetting how good Kai Kara-France is. And I'm going to pick Kai Kara-France by decision. And I'll pick him by unanimous decision. And the reason why is this. I don't think Erceg is going to be able to implement any of his grappling to where it's like, influencing rounds in the judges' scorecards. And I think Kara-France is going to be able to get to the chin of Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg is an amazing striker. He's one of the best guys in the flyweight division, but so is Kai. And I said, when you look at Erceg, David Dvorak is hitting that chin. Costa, who has just the shortest arms I've ever seen, is hitting that chin of Erceg badly. Pantoja is nailing him on the chin. And I know Kai Kara-France is 4 inches taller. It's 4 inches, not taller, shorter, which is crazy how short these guys are. I think for Kara-France is like 5'4". It's crazy. But so that could play into it. But the reach is pretty similar. And I think Kara-France is, he's at the top of this division for a reason. I don't think height is going to play a factor for him. I think he trains knowing that he's going to be at a disadvantage, in height and maybe a tiny bit in reach. He's training for that. And I think Kai France has good power, and I think he's going to be able to touch the chin of Steve Erceg kind of whenever he wants, because through Erceg's entire career against a lot lesser, Schnell, Costa, Dvorak, these guys are not on Kai France's level. They're just not. And they're able to touch the chin of Steve Erceg. So I think Kai France is going to be able to do the exact same thing. I think it's a very competitive fight, but I think Kai France gets it done by unanimous decision. Don't count out Kai France. I know he hasn't fought in a year. I know he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but he lost to Brandon Moreno. Not a bad loss at all. He's looking good in that fight. Very competitive. And a lot of people thought he got robbed against Amir Abazi. So, don't underestimate Kai France. I think he gets it done unanimous decision. Moving on to the main event. Dricus du Plessis defending the middleweight title against Israel Adesanya. Unbelievable banger fight. If you want to hear even more about this fight, check out my main event breakdown. I have a specific video on this fight, just this fight, where I discuss and break it down. But the reason I am picking Dricus du Plessis by unanimous decision is because Israel Adesanya, styles make fights, and Israel Adesanya is kind of a bad matchup for Dricus. And that's why I can 100% see a world and a reality where Israel Adesanya knocks him out. Like, if you can't see that scenario, you're counting Izzy out. It's as simple as that. But the reason why I'm picking Dricus is because, yes, do I think he loses the early rounds? I do. But I trust Dricus's fighting IQ, and I trust his corner. And I think they're going to have a really, really strategic game plan. And Dricus might, come off as ultra confident, which he is, but maybe comes off as sometimes too confident. I think that's just him trying to sell the fight. When he says that, I don't know if Izzy's the same old Izzy. I think he's kind of said that. I think he's just trying to get under Izzy's skin. I don't think in this training camp he's training for an Izzy that is washed up or something like that, or not the same Izzy that knocked out Alex Pereira. I don't think that's the case. I think Dricus is taking Israel Adesanya as serious, if actually more serious than any other fighter he's ever fought. This is the best fighter he's ever fought. This is the biggest fight of his life. It's a fight that if Dricus wins, he really could get us into a new era of middleweight, taking out Whitaker, getting the belt off Strickland, and beating Israel Adesanya, especially if it's by finish. But I think Adesanya is too hard to finish, and I think the combination of Dricus's game plan, the power in his hands, the grappling he has, and his forward pressure movement. I know Adesanya is very good on the back foot, but I think du Plessis is going to be training a lot to be better on defense. I don't think he's going to be as sloppy this fight. I think he's going to be more sloppy than Adesanya, obviously, but I think he's going to fix up some of his sloppiness, knowing that he won't be able to get away when, you're up against someone like Israel Adesanya with that type of power, especially in the early rounds. So the combination of the pressure moving forward, and I think Dricus, I don't think Dricus is going to, I think his wrestling is a little overrated, but I still think he has very good wrestling, very good jiu-jitsu. I don't think he just, does some Habib type shit to Israel Adesanya. I don't think he's really able to hold him down a lot, but I do think du Plessis is able to mix in the grappling, the takedowns, and a little bit of ground and pound. Maybe gets him with a nice left hook or elbow when they're leaving the clinch area. I do think he'll be able to mix those aspects of MMA into this fight, which will help him, like in the Sean Strickland fight, bank rounds against Israel Adesanya. And I have Dricus du Plessis striking getting even more effective as the fight goes on, especially after the second round. So I'm relying on Dricus's forward movement, his IQ, his amazing ability to adjust in between rounds. Not just a great game plan going into the fight, which he will have. His ability to adjust to his opponent in between rounds has been spectacular. He did it against Sean Strickland. It was very good. Robert Whitaker, Brad Tavares, Darren Till. He's shown to do this in a lot of his fights. I think it's going to pay dividends against Israel Adesanya. And I think all those factors gets Dricus du Plessis the unanimous decision win over Israel Adesanya. But this was a hard fight to pick. In fact, I shouldn't say it was a hard fight to pick because I'm decently confident Dricus gets it done. I've been kind of, when this fight got announced and before, I kind of leaned Dricus. So I guess I shouldn't say it was hard, but don't be surprised if Israel Adesanya gets this done, though. Do not be surprised. Do not count him out. I think people are counting him out. Do not count Adesanya out. But I think Dricus du Plessis gets this done by unanimous decision, and I think it's a very good fight. So, guys, those are my predictions on all the main card fights for UFC 305 on Saturday in Australia. Let me know what you guys think of my picks. Give your predictions down below. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.